Now we shall move our discussion to the next part. After the non-cooperation movement, the next nationwide movement was the civil disobedience movement, which started in 1930. Let's see what all events led to the launch of this movement. In November 1927, the British government appointed the Indian Statutory Commission under the chairmanship of John Simon. It was commonly called as the Simon Commission. The commission was appointed to report on the following: to inquire working of the Government of India 1919 Act, growth of education, development of democratic institutions in India, to see to what extent principle of responsible government can be introduced in India, and to suggest methods to improve relations between Indian princely states and British India. The commission was important because it would decide the future of India. But the problem was there were no Indian members in the commission, so the Congress firmly opposed the commission. At the Madras session of 1927, presided over by Dr. Ansari, the Congress passed a resolution to boycott the commission. When the Simon Commission came to Bombay from England, it was greeted with slogans of "Simon, go back." The government responded with the use of police force on demonstrators. The Indian youth, largely influenced by the radical socialist ideas, was becoming restive. To calm down the growing anger among the Indian people, Lord Birkenhead, the Secretary of State for India, asked the political parties in India to prepare a constitution for India that was acceptable to all the parties. So an all-parties conference was held in 1928 under the presidency of M.A. Ansari. At this conference, a committee was appointed under Motilal Nehru to draft a new constitution for India. Motilal Nehru, along with Tej Bahadur Sapru and others, prepared the famous Nehru Report and submitted it before the conference. It was accepted at the Lucknow session of the All Parties Conference in August 1928. This was India's first attempt to draft a constitution for India. The Nehru Report advocated dominant status and not complete independence. The younger section of the Congress, including Motilal Nehru's son Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, opposed the idea of dominant status. They wanted complete independence. What did Gandhiji say? Gandhiji said that the Congress should accept the Nehru Report only if the government accepts these demands without modifications by the end of 1929. So Gandhi gave a deadline to the government. But the younger section of the Congress was particularly unhappy with this stance taken by Gandhiji. Their demand was complete independence. In 1929, Gandhiji was arrested at Calcutta. This led to a sudden rise in the revolutionary activities. So the then Viceroy Lord Irwin went to England and secured the British cabinet approval for a scheme based on dominant status for India. When he came back to India, he declared that India will be given independence based on a dominant status, and a roundtable conference would be convened in London to discuss the framing of a new constitution for India. But there were no firm assurances about when or how this would be done, so Gandhiji and Motilal Nehru withdrew their support to Irwin's declaration. Few days later, at the Congress annual session of Lahore, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Congress declared their aim of attaining complete independence, or Poorna Swaraj. It also decided to launch the civil disobedience movement under the leadership of Gandhiji. It was also decided that the Congress would not join the Roundtable Conference at London. On January 26, 1930, the Congress tricolour was hoisted across India and the day was celebrated as Independence Day. In the next video, we shall see the civil disobedience movement.